What's going on YouTube? The luxury 3-row segment is a hotly contested space, but two of the leaders and two of our favorites have both been refreshed this year, the Volvo XC90 and the Audi Q7. But that leads to a question: which one is the better of the two now that extensive updates have been made? So without further ado, let's go ahead and find out. So the first thing we'll do is establish the pricing and equipment levels of these two. They match up very well, so starting with the Audi, we have the top trim level, the Prestige 3.0T. It starts at just a little over $71,000, and after a few options, including 21-inch wheels, the total is $75,290. As far as the Volvo, the top version with the equivalent engine is the T6 Inscription. It starts at $62,600, but requires about twice the options to get to the same equipment level. All told, we're looking at a total of $71,005. We will revisit that price difference at the end of the video when we discuss value. So kicking things off here with the exteriors. They certainly don't look similar to each other at all. Both have their brand's latest design languages, which means for the Q7, it now has the octagonal single-frame grille with vertical bars. The Volvo's refresh changes less, but the clean and classy grille design has been slightly modified. The elegant Thor's Hammer LED headlights are also mostly the same, but the Q7's updated Matrix LED headlights have the extra trick of dynamic turn signals. However, only the Volvo has dedicated fog lights. Heading to the sides, the Q7 has the sportier appearance thanks to the body line and the wheel design, though both have optional 21-inch alloys. And then moving on to the rear, they look extremely different just like in the front. The Volvo has the signature stacked LED taillights and dual exhaust outlets in a silver housing, while the Q7 has black plastic and hidden exhaust outlets in its lower area. Now moving past the design choices, both crossovers are loaded with features, like the height adjustable air suspensions. For the mirrors, both have every feature that can be thrown at them, including blind spot monitoring on the safety front. And as far as all the other safety features, as you would expect, these have some of the most advanced safety features in the industry. So in addition to your usual forward emergency braking, lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise control, and auto high beam headlights, both also come equipped with semi-autonomous highway driving systems to assist the driver. Next we have the warranties, which are both 4-year 50,000 mile for basic and powertrain, but Audi has eliminated complimentary maintenance for 2020, while Volvo still offers a generous 3 years. Finally, in regard to max towing, the Q7 certainly has the lead at 7,700 versus only 5,000 pounds in the XC90. But anyway, that's the end of the exterior comparison. So now let's get to the important interiors before we take them out for a drive. So walking up to the vehicles, both are obviously going to have smart entry. But you'll notice on the Volvo, the key is covered in beautiful leather that matches the interior. Now checking out the interiors themselves, they couldn't possibly be more opposite. As typical, the German vehicle has a high-tech and business-like cabin, but in this case it is finished in beige instead of black. The Volvo's cabin has an organic and warm feel to it, with the seats in maroon brown. And speaking of the seats, the XC90 certainly has the advantage here. It has more ways of adjustment with power thigh and bolsters. It is finished in higher grade Nappa leather and is one of the most comfortable seats in the entire auto industry. However, only the Audi has soft closed doors. Now beyond the seats, both interiors have great materials. The Volvo's cabin is beautifully crafted, with leather across the upper dash and door trim, open pore walnut through the middle, and down below, leather along the console. By comparison, the Audi is a less rich place, using soft touch plastic up top, piano black and gloss oak through the middle areas, and the console is not leather wrapped without the luxury package. After startup, both have 12.3-inch digital gauges. However, Audi's virtual cockpit is a lot more sophisticated and vivid. Of course, it pretty much goes without saying that both have heated and leather-wrapped steering wheels, but only the Q7 has power adjustment. Now the next area to evaluate is interior storage, where the Volvo comes out on top. Its center console is quite a bit deeper, and it has some storage in the front, but it is also missing the wireless phone charger that the Q7 has. Heading to the shifters, one is traditional and the other electronic, but only the Q7 has paddle shifters. And in reverse, its 360-degree camera system is superior since it has the ability to spin around the vehicle in 3D and high resolution. Alrighty, now that brings us to the audio systems. So let's go ahead and take a sample. Both are great, and to my ears, they are pretty much equal. The next thing to look at are the climate controls. As high-tech vehicles, both are located in the displays and are quad-zone automatic. They also have the latest screen and infotainment systems from their respective brands. In the Volvo, that means a 9-inch display, and in the Audi, an 8.6 and 10.1-inch display. As far as the important features, both have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay abilities, as well as navigation, though only the Audi has Google Earth Maps. Finally, ending the front, both have giant panoramic moonroofs. Now checking out the rear seats. The Q7 has more legroom, but it is not over the 5% threshold that's required to get a point. And then as far as the rear features, both have tons. They have rear sunshades, as well as 2 more zones of climate and heated rear seats. The Q7 has 2 USB ports, while the XC90 makes do with only a single 12-volt outlet. However, it has the cool integrated booster seat for kids. Now moving back into the third row, you can easily get the second row out of the way. And once you do, you'll find 2 more seats. Neither of these are exactly space champs, but it is adequate for young children. And as far as features, only the Volvo has air vents. Next up, we have cargo utility, where the Volvo has a fairly substantial advantage, especially in terms of the maximum when all the seats are folded. We still have a really close race, so now let's see what's under the hoods and how they drive. For close rivals with similar specs, the way they get there are starkly different. The Q7 is the more conventional of the two, using a 3-liter turbo V6, making 335 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. The Volvo, on the other hand, uses a 2-liter turbocharged and supercharged 4-cylinder engine, making 310 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. That does give the Q7 a decent edge in power figures and real-world acceleration. Now what we have with us here today is the TFSI 55. This is the most common powertrain configuration, and this is brand new for 2020. So basically, you have a new and nice and powerful engine. Replaces the previous supercharged unit. We now have a turbocharged 3-liter V6 engine.
I'm very impressed with this engine, you know, especially out of a 4-cylinder and something that this
Right, it's a tiny
gigantic
4-cylinder in a 3-row crossover. It's like, wow, I mean, are you really going to do this? But
it does.
you know, because when they first announced this way back several years ago, you know, it was like, it seemed like a weird decision, let's just say that. But when you actually get in these recent Volvos and see them in practice, it really does do a great job. As far as the transmissions, both of them have smooth shifting 8-speed automatics paired with advanced all-wheel drive systems. Now the Q7 is actually a mild hybrid, which doesn't boost power but instead powers an extremely smooth auto start-stop system that works while the vehicle is coasting. Now, like I already vaguely mentioned, since this is the mild hybrid setup, you do have advanced auto start-stop, and actually it is able to shut off as you come to a stop, which is what it had just done. The restart. That was a really quick turnaround. A lot of times that shut off and turn back on immediately is troublesome for cars. Handled it like a charm. Now let's talk other aspects of the driving dynamics. As you would expect, the German vehicle puts more emphasis on athleticism, with minimal body roll and tight steering, especially when clicked into the dynamic mode. Wow, right from the start here, I can tell a substantial difference. Especially in the steering setup, really tightens down. By default, of course, like as in the comfort mode, it is, you know, pretty loose, pretty lightweight, but really tightens everything down. And as we rounded that corner there, it is also, body roll is greatly reduced. Really brings everything under control in a really, really nice way. I'm also noticing now that turning, the steering has been tightened up quite a bit now that I'm in dynamic mode, which I definitely appreciate. Me being a car enthusiast, I like to have a little bit of a tighter steering, and when you're in the comfort mode, it has very light steering, like most of the Volvos do, being luxury minded. So having it being tightened down a bit once you get into dynamic mode is very nice. Both of them have air suspensions, so the rides are fantastic and extremely isolating. The Volvo will get the nod for how quiet the cabin is, and the fact that even accelerating hard, you can barely hear the engine.
Just sitting here at a red light, I do kind of want to go ahead and touch back again on just how comfortable and nice this cabin is. You know, we're sitting here at a red light on this super busy road, and I just feel really, really isolated from everything else. You know, there's cars flying by on both sides of the road, and you just feel very isolated and comfortable. and there's tons of space for you and all of your family. And you know, I can't even feel the engine running. It's really just a very pleasant and very luxurious experience.
The seats.
Oh gosh, yes.
Nobody does seats like Volvo does. I mean, they look like they've got that contoured look, and it just feels fantastic.
Contour. It feels
matches
great.
Just your body. It's so soft. The leather quality is fantastic, and you can adjust it any way that you need it to adjust. Finally, the last thing to mention is the fuel economy. Oddly enough, the mild hybrid Q7 gets uncharacteristically low fuel economy for the segment at only 18 combined, which is well behind the 21 combined in the Volvo. And last but not least, we have value, which takes into account the difference in the price tags. As always, we will award a half point per $1,000 of price difference, or 2 points to the Volvo. Well guys, that is where we are going to finish up this comparison video. As you can probably tell, both these crossovers are doing an outstanding job at delivering an awesome luxury experience. At the end of the day, if you're in the market for either of these two, make sure you check them both out in person before making a buying decision. Anyway, thanks for joining us for another Car Confections comparison. And be sure to subscribe if you want to see more comparisons, as well as our signature full review videos. Take care and stay safe.